Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows I. Of course, I'm Diego, and today we're going to continue to talk about High Fidelity. That's right, High Fidelity, a wonderful movie from the year 2000. Okay, this movie was filmed in Chicago, in my neighborhood in Chicago, so I'm very close to this movie. It's one of the best chick flick movies for guys ever made. Okay, this movie deals a lot with relationships. It deals with patterns and structures, and fidelity, hence the title. Okay, it deals with a lot about, cheating on each other, falling in love, attraction, similar interests, chemistry, all these kind of things, these tropes that you usually see in a chick flick. You see it all in this movie. The difference between this and other chick flicks, okay, is that despite the fact that you see all these romantic qualities that you see in a lot of chick flicks, in this particular movie, the male lead, it's a main character, is a guy, and he still acts like a guy. Throughout the entire movie, he acts like a guy. For good or for bad, he acts like a guy. Even when he's making stupid decisions, he still acts like a guy. All right? So this movie is very good at showcasing a lot of the pitfalls that happen to us as a result of relationships, okay? Some of the shit that we have to go through, You see a lot of movies where girls are complaining about their relationships not being good enough, blah, 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 can't find the right guy, my husband doesn't do this for me, my boyfriend doesn't do this, and then she goes off and she meets someone that does do all those things, okay? Bullshit, all right? And this movie is the opposite of that. This movie is showing you the shit that women put us through from our point of view, not from her point of view, from our point of view. The shit that women do to us and how we deal with it. Now, the main character, Rob Gordon, I would say he's an everyman. He's very similar to your average guy, but he's just a little bit more depressing, okay, than your average guy. He's basically your average guy who's having a bad day, but he's having a bad life, all right? He's acting that way throughout the entire course of the movie. He's very morose, very melancholy, very not full blown depression, but you could tell that there's a lot of sadness behind his eyes. You could say behind his demeanor, and that never goes away. Okay, and that's what the movie's about. Why does he act that way? Why does he feel this way all the time? Why do girls keep breaking his heart? Why is he always sad and blue and crying in the rain and screaming out loud and chain smoking cigarettes, And, that's what he does normally. When he's not doing that, he knows a lot about music. He knows a lot about records, okay? He's got a top 5 list for everything in his life, including his ex-girlfriends. And that's what this movie's about. His top 5 list of worst breakups he's ever had. The movie begins with his girlfriend, his current girlfriend, breaking up with him. Later on, we find out that she left him for another guy, their neighbor, who doesn't live there anymore. She left him for another guy. He's upset about it. He's really pissed off. Okay, she will not come back to him. Okay, but he's trying. He's trying really hard. He went over to. She's living with this new guy now, and he tracked down where they live, and he went to the payphone right next to their house and started blowing up their phone and calling them over and over again. Trying to convince her to leave this guy and come back to him. All that kind of shit. He's super upset, he's super upset because, she slept with the other guy, and that really pisses him off, his self-esteem, his masculinity is threatened now, and he feels that women have done this to him throughout his entire life, ever since his first girlfriend when he was 14, when he caught her kissing another boy on the bleachers after school, okay, so he's always been this way. He's always, found fault in women. He's always found a way to blame himself for shit that other people do, okay, and to not take responsibility for his own actions, okay? He doesn't pay attention. Earlier in this movie, he fucked another girl. He did. And he fucking blew her off right after that. He just blew her off, which I would not have done. Okay, I would have actually kept seeing her longer, while I'm dealing with this whole girlfriend breakup crisis. Okay, that's what I would have done. But that's not what he does. He immediately ignores her and focuses on the girl that dumped him. All right, and getting upset that she slept with someone else too. So it's like you can see his insecurity, you can see his immaturity there. Okay, but unfortunately, a lot of guys like that. I know I was like that in my 20s. Absolutely, I was. So I see a lot of myself in this character. And that's one of the reasons I love this movie so much. All right, now where we left off last time, Rob, of course, he was crying out in the rain like John Cusack does in every fucking movie he's in. Look at his list of movies. How many of them does it have a scene with John Cusack is crying in the fucking rain? Okay, I can probably name off 6 of them right now. Okay, I'm not going to, but I can. All right, that's just his trope. That's what he always does. He always plays the guy that gets his heart broken. Look at his work history. Look at all the shit he did in the 80s. Okay, he's always the guy that gets his heart broken. Okay, it's like the Adam Sandler movies. You remember those Adam Sandler movies from the mid to late 90s? Okay, what happens in the beginning of every single Adam Sandler movie? He gets dumped by a girlfriend, right? And that's the impetuous for the rest of the movie. Okay, well, same thing with him. He's always getting dumped. Even in Better Off Dead, he was obsessing over some girl. Yeah, I know that was a comedy, but he was still obsessing over his ex-girlfriend, Remember, he had pictures of her in his closet everywhere. Remember that? Okay, yeah. So he's still the same way. Same thing in saying anything. He was obsessed with this girl he fell in love with and dumped him. He gave her his heart and she gave him a pen. Remember that? Okay, and America's Sweetheart, another movie he did with Catherine Zeta-Jones. He spends the whole fucking movie crying about his movie star wife cheating on him with Hank Azaria. Okay, I mean, what the fuck? You know, this is par for the course for John Cusack. All right, this is what he does. And this is no different, okay? I remember in A Good Thing, that was another movie he did with Tim Robbins, okay? Yeah, he was crying in the rain with that one, with Daphne Zuniga, okay? So it's like, come on, like, this is getting old. It's getting really old, okay? But that's John Cusack. He always does that in all of his movies. And of course he does that here too. He brings that to the table here. All right, so moving right along. So all that happens. He has a meeting with Liz. Liz is his ex-girlfriend Laura's best friend. All right, and she's played by his real-life sister, Joan Cusack. And she basically tells him, hey, listen, you got to stop calling them. You got to stop blowing up their phone and calling them, harassing them. Okay, you're pissing her off and you're pissing off Ian. Okay, Ian is played by Tim Robbins. That's the guy that Laura left him for. You're pissing them both off. Okay, you know, you're making it worse. And he's like, well, how can you get much worse than her and Ian? He's like, because they're forming a unit now, okay? Now you're giving them a common denominator, okay? Now they're both pissed off at you, okay? And if you keep harassing them, they're gonna focus their anger towards you, which is gonna make them get closer together, which is gonna make them form a bond, a much stronger bond than they have now, okay? And that's not what you want. But the real question I want to ask you is, why do you want to get back with Laura so bad? Why is it so important to get back with her? And he can't answer her. He's just quiet. The movie just cuts to another scene. He cannot answer that question. Why does he want to get back with her? I think I know why it is. It's because he wants something he can't have. He was so used to having her around, and now she's gone. He wants her back. This doesn't feel right. Okay, he needs her back where she belongs, next to him, living with him, you know, so that he can forget about her again. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I call it. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Now, what I do here at Diego, my name's Diego, what I do here is I give you a straight man's point of view. Okay, so I'm not going to censor myself. I'm going to the honest God truth, because that's what the world needs right now. A lot more truth and a lot less bullshit. Okay, and I'm not going to spare your feelings. Okay, I'm going to tell you the honest God truth, whether you like it or not. You might get offended to it. I don't give a shit. I'm telling you the truth. You need to know the truth. Someone's got to fucking tell it to you. These chick flicks are not going to fucking tell you the truth. Okay, I'm going to fucking tell you the truth. All right? The real question is, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? We're going to find out. All right? So on with the review for High Fidelity. Okay, so that's where we left off last time. Okay, he had his conversation with Liz, and she told him basically to leave him alone. He could not answer the question of whether or not why he wants to get her back. Okay, so he goes back to work. Okay, and while he's at work in the office, he gets a return phone call. One of his employees, Dick, tells him, hey, you got a phone call, Rob. So he goes back there to answer the phone. It's Charlie. Okay, now Charlie is played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. Now, earlier in the movie, Rob told us, he gave us the top 5 list of the worst breakups he's ever had, and Charlie was number 3 on that list. Charlie Nicholson. Okay, yeah, it's a guy's name, but it's played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. Okay, what we saw about their relationship is Charlie was very flirtatious. She was very extroverted. She was the life of the party. She would always be the one, always leading the conversation. You know, she was flashy. She acted sexy. She was very flirty. Okay, very extroverted. Okay, she had a high fashion sense and stuff, you know, and he was in love with her big time. Okay, this was the one. Okay, now for those of you ladies, I'm sure you experienced this too. For most of us guys, there is that one that just fucking broke us. All right, that was the one that we set all our dreams upon, and it got fucking taken away. Most of us guys have that one. Okay, I'm sure your boyfriend has that one. Your husband has that one. Okay, hopefully it's not you. Okay, but the point is that yes, we've all had that one. I can think of mine right now, and that one, oh my God, I think I mentioned it in another video. She fucking, oh my God, when she dumped me right there on the corner of Wacker Drive and State Street, right there on the Chicago River in Chicago. And I remember that. I will never fucking forget that. That was just fucking the worst fucking pain I ever had in my fucking life, you know, where your heart just drops, you know. That was absolutely horrible for me, you know. And, you know, that was the one that just broke me. Well, that's what Charlie did to Rob, okay? She broke him, okay? She cheated on him with a guy that was better looking, more successful, had a better personality, more self-confident, all that kind of shit, you know. And you see his scene in the rain, of course. He's screaming at her, Charlie, come back, let's work it out. She's in her apartment. She looks down, and she's naked, but she's got a blanket on, and there's a naked guy there with her. So that's when he realizes that she's fucking someone else. Okay, that broke him. That broke him. Like he never really recovered from that. I would argue to say that he was that way already before he even met Charlie. Okay, he never recovered from the 14-year-old girl, Allison Ashmore, that dumped him. Okay, that broke his heart when he was 14. Okay, but he carried that throughout his life. Okay, and this is the adult version of that. Okay, and he just, like, you could tell this is like he was just gone he checked out of life pretty much. All right, when he came to, he's wearing sunglasses all the time. He's all emo now. He dropped out of college. He's working at a record store, and that's basically what set him on the path of his life to now he owns a record store in Wicker Park in Chicago, my neighborhood. All right. Well, Charlie's the one that broke him. Okay, and he's had time to think about that relationship now, and he realized that, hey, Charlie was above him. She was too smart, too rich, too good looking, too charming, too beautiful. So of course, and he was like, the way he looks at her is she's a 10 and he's like a fucking 5. What the fuck was she doing with a 5? Okay, she belongs with another 10. Okay, and he's not a 10. Okay, he's just an average guy. Like, what the fuck was she doing with him? She's a goddess. Okay, like he's surprised that her name is in the phone book. She's a goddess. She's a myth. She's a legend. She's not in the fucking phone book. Yes, we used to use phone books back in the day. For those of you kids out there watching this, all right, that's how you got people's number. All right, so so he was shocked that she even went out with him, and he treated her like a queen the entire. I mean, he carried. Well, actually, yeah, he did, because he carried her groceries up the stairs. I mean, he opened the door for her. I mean, she wanted for nothing. He was always there for her. You could tell that she was the boss of that relationship. Okay, she dominated everything. Okay, and he let her. Because he was just so happy just to be in her presence. Okay, he's the kind of guy that would have been happy just fucking like smelling her shit. Okay, it would have made him happy. I mean, like, he would have been blessed just to be able to do that. That's how he treated her. He had her way the fuck up on that pedestal. He couldn't even see her anymore. Okay, so of course she fucked him over, because that's not what she wants. A girl like that doesn't want that. Okay, but he was pretending that he was a stud. He was pretending that he was a high value man, but he really wasn't. He knew he wasn't. Okay, and he was always afraid that she would leave him for a better guy, and she left him for a better guy. She did. Okay, and he never got over that, because that just confirmed his feelings of self-worth. Okay, so anyway, he decided in the beginning of this movie that because Laura broke his heart, his current girlfriend broke his heart, he wanted to track down every girl that dumped him in the past and get some sort of a closure. So he called Charlie. She wasn't there, but he left a message. Okay, and then we forgot about her. Well, now she's calling him back. Okay, it's been years since they've been together. Now she's calling him back. And one thing I want to say about Rob is he's mentioned to us, because he does break the fourth wall in this movie. He talks to us just like I'm talking to you, and he mentions the name of the guy that she cheated on him with. His name was Marco, the dreaded Marco. So he most definitely remembers Marco. That's the guy that she dumped him for. Okay. So anyway, he gets the phone call. He's shocked that she called him back. She's giggling like, oh, Charlie, completely oblivious that she broke his heart the last time they saw each other. Okay, but it has been years. Okay, it's water over the dam. Okay, at least for her it is. For him, it's not. Okay, she just got back into town. And we find out that she's not married and she has no kids. Okay, and she says, like, it's Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. Okay, I know she looks Mexican because she was in Zorro, but she's actually from Wales. She's actually British. All right. This book is about a British guy, actually. Nick Hornsby wrote this book, and he's a Londoner. He's from New England. Okay, from England. Sorry, and he wrote this book, and the book actually takes place in London. Okay, with a lot of fucking London slang there. Okay, but John Cusack got the rights to it, and he got the rights to the movie, and he made sure it took place in Chicago instead. Okay, so he turned it into an American movie. All right, but anyway, so she's there, and she says like, no kids. I'm too young. I'm too single. I don't know. Kids are too time consuming. I guess that's what the word I'm looking for. And then Rob looks at us and goes like, I am not fucking kidding. This is the way she talks. Okay. As if nobody ever had a conversation with her about having kids. In the history of the whole fucking world, nobody ever talked to her about having kids. Ain't fucking credible. And he goes back to talking to her, which is true, okay? She does. She actually acts like, you would think of someone her age, she looks like she's like in her early 30s now, and she looks like, she must have at least thought about having kids or settling down or maybe getting married. Maybe she's got an ex-husband somewhere or something, But no, the thought never occurred. She acts like the thought never occurred. Well, I'm too young. I'm too single. Kids are time consuming. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. All right. Yeah, she sounds like a narcissist, okay? That happens, okay? He still has her on her pedestal. Just the fact that he talked to us the way he just did. But can you believe it? This is the way she talks. Oh my gosh, she's a goddess. That kind of thing. He still has her on a pedestal, okay? He's always had her on a pedestal. She's always going to be above him. And that's the problem, okay? Guys, no girl's above you. No girls above you. These are made up things, made up by people whose opinions you matter to you. Okay, if you get rid of their opinions, it don't fucking matter. Okay, what's important is how do you relate to this person? Okay, what is your chemistry with this person? What's your interaction with this person? Do you have similar interests? Do you get along? Okay, that's what matters. It's not about whether she's fucking better looking than you, has more money than you, or fucking knows more people than you do. Okay, that's just something that our society created to place a value on everyday interactions. Okay, and that's not, unfortunately, that is the way it is. But you know, it doesn't have to be that way if you don't subscribe to it. Okay, so that's going on. All right. So yeah, so Charlie asked him, says, "Okay, Rob, are you in or are you out?" Okay. And the reason she said that, she's like, I've been getting a lot of calls lately from ex-boyfriends and stuff. They keep calling me lately more than before. They're calling me, you know, they all want to have that stupid little speech, you know, the long lost boyfriend, and I find it very unnerving. And Rob asked, "What do you mean unnerving?" He's like, "Well, you know, like, you remember Marco? That's the guy that I dated after you." He's like, "That's the guy that she cheated on him with, you know?" He's like, no, I don't remember him that well." She's like, "Well, anyway, he called me a few weeks ago. He wanted to catch up. You know, he was having one of those, like, what does it all mean type things going on in his life. And he wanted to play catch up with me. And, and I was just like, I got better things to do, you know?" And she's like, and I don't want to do that, and he wanted to rehash the past, and I'm just not up for that, Tell me something, Rob. Do all men go through this? And he's like, well, I've never heard of guys ever do anything like that. So what would you mean by are you in or out? What did that mean? Well, it means that if we're friends or not, Rob, because if we're still friends, then that's great. That's great. I can talk to you. But if we're not, then I really don't want to spend any time playing catch up. I'm too busy for that. That's basically what she tells him. Okay. He's like, "Well, I'm in. I'm totally in." She's like, "Great. Guess what? I'm having a dinner party tomorrow, and you are invited. Okay. So why don't you come over tomorrow night?" So he's all excited. Yes, I'm gonna go out with Charlie again. Like I said, Charlie was the girl that destroyed him. Now, from a guy's point of view, okay, I have had feelings like this before. Okay, I have had feelings of wanting to get back together with a girl that hurt me. Okay, I have had those fantasies, that maybe we'll get back together and all that stuff will just be gone. I have felt that way before in the past, but I've never said it out loud. I never told anyone that. I never told any girl that. I never told her, "Hey, listen, sometimes I think about you and I wish that we were still together." I've never had that conversation with a girl. Okay, not really. Okay, not really. No, not a recent breakup. I might have said that to a girl I hadn't seen in 25 years or some shit. I haven't done that before. But as far as a girl that broke my heart or something like that, no, I've never had that conversation, but I've thought about it. Okay, and Rob, I don't understand why Rob is so happy that Charlie wants to see him again. Okay, now I don't know if it's because of the closure. He wants to ask her what the fuck happened. Why'd you dump me? Or is it because he thinks that maybe he can get back with her because he still got her on the pedestal. She's still above him in his eyes, and that's not the foundation for a great relationship. I don't really know what he's doing. I'm gonna have to see how this plays out. Okay, so Rob is all excited about it. He goes into the store. Basically, I think he's gonna brag to his employees, Barry and Dick, about what happened, about who that person was on the phone. But when he walks into the storeroom of his store, his record store, he sees Tim Robbins. Okay, Tim Robbins plays his character Ian. Ian is the guy that his current girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend now, Laura, dumped him for. That's the guy that she's living with now, Tim Robbins' character, okay? He's got this stupid-ass fucking ponytail, even though he's fucking middle-aged. He wears these stupid-ass glasses, okay? He tries to act like a cool guy, even though he's too fucking old for that, And his name is Ian. Now, the reason Rob didn't realize that she was fucking him was because when he lived in their building, when he lived above from them, he went by the name Ray, because his last name is Raymond, Ian Raymond, but everybody called him Ray, okay? So when he found out that Laura was fucking some guy named Ian, he had no idea who this Ian guy was, and then he put two and two together and figured out, oh my God, Ian was the real name of the guy that lived upstairs. Ray is Ian. Okay, now he figured it out. So she'd been boning their upstairs neighbor. Okay, now she did mention earlier in the movie that she had not slept with him yet, even after she broke up with him and moved out. She had not slept with him yet. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, Ripley don't fucking believe that shit, but he believed it because he's a fucking idiot. And unfortunately, I believe shit like that too. Okay, but now she officially confirmed that she has had sex with him. Okay, so now he lost his shit. Now he's all fucking upset. That's why he's all depressed and crying and all that kind of shit earlier in the movie. All right. But now here's Ian. This is the first time that him and Ian are going to have a one-on-one talk. All right. Now he's there because he's been harassing them. Okay. He's been showing up at their house. He knows where they live now. He's been blowing up their phone. He's been calling them 10 times a night, to talk to Laura, all this kind of shit. This is before everybody had a cell phone. Not everybody had a cell phone back in 2000. Okay. When this movie came out. All right. So he's blowing up their phone. He's harassing them, and he's like, "Hi, Rob, you remember me? Ray, Ian." He's like, "I just wanted to come by and sort a few things out, and he's like sort out what? Oh, like calling me 10 times a night, hanging out in front of my house." And Rob's like, "Oh, I don't do that anymore." He's like, "You were there this morning." He's like, "Well, what do you want?" And now Dick and Barry, Barry's played by Jack Black, all right? They're there, they're his employees, and they're just watching the whole transaction take place. And so they're watching, okay, and while Ian's about to talk, his pager goes off, okay, his beeper goes off, and he looks over and it's Laura. He's like, "Oh, guess who?" Now you could tell Rob is just like, he's just starting to lose his shit again, and I would too. Now, would I stalk my ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend's house? No, I would not do that. I have never done that before in my life. I've never blown up a girl's phone before. I've never called over and over again. I've never done that in my life either. So a lot of the stuff that Rob does is immature. It's stuff that I would never do, thank God. Okay, but I do know guys that have done shit like this, okay? And it doesn't work, guys. Don't do it. Don't fucking, it just lowers the value of you. Okay, you don't want to be that guy. Okay, you don't want to be the guy that fucking just keeps calling and calling. I've dated girls that just broke up with guys like that. Okay, and I've been in bed with girls when their fucking ex-boyfriend is blowing up their phone. Okay, I've gone through that before. I've been on dates with girls where their fucking ex-boyfriend is peeking through the fucking windows of the restaurant. Okay, shit like that. I remember once I was with this lady. I was at her house, and we were sitting there having dinner. She cooked me dinner. We're sitting there having dinner, and her ex was fucking creeping around the property. Like climbing on top of the roof and trying to peek into the living room and shit. And we had to call the cops on him. She called the cops on him. Okay? Yeah, I've been through that before, okay? Guys, you don't want to be like that. Don't be like Rob, okay? But anyway, so Rob's there telling her, "I'm not doing that anymore," But you could tell he's getting really angry. He fucking hates this guy. He didn't like him when the guy lived upstairs, so now he hates him because he's boning his girlfriend, all right? His ex-girlfriend, okay? So I can understand his animosity. Me personally, if somebody come into my store like that, I would be like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Okay, well, I'm not doing that anymore. Get the fuck out." That's what I would have done. Okay, but maybe as a guy in my 20s and full of testosterone, I might not have. But what's going to happen next, most definitely would have done. Okay, so what happens is they're talking to each other. He tells them that he stopped all the stalking that he's been doing. Okay, but Rob's about to lose his shit, and Ian tells her, "Rob, I would hate it if I were to lose Laura, okay? Obviously, she still means a lot to you, and she means a lot to me, and it would hurt me deeply if she told me that she didn't want to see me anymore. But if she did tell me that, Rob, I would respect her wishes. You know what I'm saying? G?" Well, that was it. Now, the very next scene that we see here is Rob. He tells Ian. He says like, "Yeah, you pathetic rebound fuck! Now get your patchouli stick out of my fucking store! Get out of here! Move it, lard ass! You dumb motherfucker!" And Ian fucking walks out of the store. Okay. And then we realized that was just a fantasy. That actually scene didn't actually happen in real life. Okay, that was just his fantasy, and I can understand. Yes, I have had those fantasies. All guys have had those fantasies. Okay, we've had those fantasies. All right, not all guys are for physical. Rob Gordon doesn't look to me like much of a fighter, but me personally, I might have been a little bit more polite than that. I wouldn't have told you. I wouldn't have called him a dumb motherfucker. Get the fuck out of my store, you stinky lard ass. I wouldn't have done that, but I probably would have thought that. Absolutely. I would have been a little bit nicer. Even in my 20s, I would have been a lot nicer. Now, if Ian had come up to me all like aggressive, like, hey, you understand what I mean? If he'd come up to me like that, he's not going to be doing that for a while again. I'll tell you that much. Okay, that would have violated my space. Okay, which leaves me no choice but to violate his space. Okay, and I'm talking about his internal space, if you know what I mean. All right, so yeah, so that would have gone out that way. But Ian was actually polite about it. He was nice about it. He could have come in there all upset, like, stay the fuck away from my house. Okay, I'm fucking your ex-girlfriend now. She's my girlfriend now. Get the fuck away from us before I beat the shit out of you. That's how I would have done it if I was Ian. But Ian did it a lot nicer than I would have done it. All right, So now we realize that was just a fantasy. Okay. So once again, we start all over again. He says, like, you understand, G? And then Rob leaps for Ian. He jumps him. Okay. Luckily, Dick and Barry there, they hold him back. They stop him from fucking beating the shit out of Ian, which I might, like I said, if he had gotten like in my face or something or violated my personal space, that's exactly what I would have done. Or if he said something like about my mom or some shit, that's exactly what I would have done. Okay. But he's trying to fucking attack Ian. They're holding him back. Okay, he's like, they're screaming. They're going, he's not worth it, Rob. He's not worth it. And Rob's like, leave town, leave the country, you little bitch. Because you'll look back at 10 phone calls a day as the golden age. He's like, get ready, motherfucker. I'm gonna get you. And Ian runs out of the store. Okay. Well, I guess that was another fantasy. That actually didn't happen either. That was just in his imagination. Okay. So once again, we're back. Okay. Ian tells her, you understand what I'm saying, G? Okay. And at that point, Dick picks up the telephone and smashes fucking Ian across the face with it. And then Barry and Dick jump over the counter and they proceed. And then Rob, of course, they proceed to beat the shit out of him while he's trying to run out of the store. They hold him down. Once they get him on the ground, they each take turns kicking him while he's down. And then Dick runs over to the fucking window air conditioning unit, pulls it out of the window, and comes out there and fucking smashes it on his fucking head. Did I tell you this is a guy movie? There's nothing funny about violence, except when it is. Okay, obviously these are fantasies. Okay, come on, ladies. You've all seen movies like this. Okay, where the girl fucking does all this fucking shit to the guy. Okay. There was one I saw once where where Cameron Diaz and two other girls, they just like fucking just beat the shit out of a guy throughout the entire 2 hours because he was sleeping with all three of them. All three of them didn't know about each other. Stupid shit like that. You see it all the fucking time. Look at Something to Talk About. Remember that old movie with Dennis Quaid and Julia Roberts? Remember Dennis Quaid gets caught cheating on Julia Roberts, okay? And then Julia Roberts' her sister fucking kicks him in the fucking nuts. Like, hey, bitch, that ain't your fucking husband. Okay, she kicked him in the nuts. Okay, I don't give a shit. What would happen if a woman cheated on a husband? Okay, does that give the guy's brother-in-law the right to fucking kick her in the crotch? Does it? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay, so why is it okay for the girl to kick the guy in the crotch? Okay, once you go into physical violence, you're out of bounds here. Okay, the punishment fits the crime. That's what I say. Okay, and you don't beat the shit out of anyone just because they fucking broke your heart or because they fucked over your best friend. You don't do that shit. Okay, if you do that, you get what's coming to you. Okay? God forbid you ever hurt somebody and someone does that to you. Yeah, it's not fun when it's the other way around, is it? Okay, anyway. So that's going on here. And once again, that's just a fantasy. Obviously, they did not kill him in the store. We go right back to him there. Okay, he's like, you get what I mean? G? Okay, and then Rob just like, he says nothing. And then Ian walks out of the store completely unharmed. Okay. Now, obviously, these are fantasies. This is what I talk about. Like, this is from a guy's move. This is a guy's point of view. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, most of us, we will get violent when we're defending something we believe in. We will get violent. Okay. We will demean ourselves. We will lower ourselves to that. Okay. Unfortunately, that is true. Okay. But, maybe I'm a little bit more than others because I was in the Marines and I was a kickboxer, and I've just been fighting my whole life. I took martial arts when I was a kid and I never stopped. All right. So I've been in several fights. Okay. I used to be a bouncer. Okay. In Chicago. Okay. So yeah, I've been in a few fights in my life, okay? There are certain rules that you have to go by, but yes, men do tend to get more violent with each other than women do with each other, okay? So yeah, I can understand his fantasies actually being reality. Okay, like I said, I would not have resorted to violence unless I had to. If he got into my space or threatened me physically or anything like that, then I would have resorted to violence. Okay, but otherwise, I would have fucking listened to what he had to say and I would have let him go. But then again, I never would have stalked a girl in the first place and I would have blown up her phone. Those are things I have never done. Unfortunately, Rob has because he suffers from a serious case of low self-esteem. All right, he needs his validation. He's not getting it from Laura anymore. Okay, so he resorts to these fucking stupid ass tactics. Okay. So Rob takes the L and Ian walks out of the store completely unharmed and Rob says nothing to him. Everything he thought about doing to Ian was all in his mind. It didn't actually happen. Okay, so the next thing we have is Rob actually goes to Charlie's her dinner party. He goes to her dinner party, okay? And she's like, hey, Jelly Bean. You know, she introduces Rob to all her fucking stuck-up, snooty, fish-eating friends. Okay, they all look like they're in their 30s. So they actually look like a lot of people, a lot of the faculty from when I went to art school. I used to go to art school at the Art Institute of Chicago, and a lot of these artsy-fartsy people look just like this, okay? They ate their fucking fish. They drank their fucking wine. They were dressed up at somebody's house. You know, this is a dinner party. Everyone's dressed nice. Rob's dressed kind of nice. Still wearing a leather jacket. He's at least got a red collared shirt on, untucked. But hey, it's something, okay? Everyone else has got their nice clothes on. Okay, even a Charlie's dressed kind of nice. She's got this like see-through type top with the fucking I can't describe it. You got to see it for yourself. But yeah, I mean, Catherine Zeta-Jones is a beautiful woman, so she introduces them, and Rob immediately can tell that he has nothing in common with these people. These people are artsy-fartsy rich people. Okay, he doesn't really fit in with this crowd. He's more of a street guy. He's more of like a down to earth, grassroots type guy. He's more like a working class. And these people are obviously snooty intellectuals. And yes, when I went to art school, okay, I met a lot of people like that too. Okay, unfortunately, and in my life I still have. Okay, I dated a girl a few years ago. She was a curator at a museum. Okay, so you can imagine the people that were at her parties. Okay, oh my God. It was like being in art school all over again, all right? Like, what the fuck, But luckily for me, I know my German expressionism, my neoclassicism, my neo-Gothic architecture, my romanticism, my cubism. I know about Dali and DiCaprio, and all sorts of people. So luckily I can hold a conversation is what I'm trying to say, all right? Seurat, Monet, okay, I know all that shit, all right? So luckily I can hold a conversation with these types of people, but still, it's just weird, when you see when you're just in a room full of people that are so different from you. It's kind of weird, all right? So anyway, so Rob realized he does not fit in. These people are rich and snooty, the artsy-fartsy type of people, Rob thinks, he thinks to himself out loud, he thinks to himself like, I'm doomed to suffer a slow, a suffocating death, okay? And I can't figure out why. So basically he's just ranting about why he's so fucking depressed with his life. And he's like, of course there's envy, these people, why isn't my life as successful as theirs? Yeah, there's that too. He's obviously lower class than they are, okay? And they pretty much ignore him. They don't even like really give him any attention, Like, it's like they feel they're above him, which is kind of weird because that's the way Rob looks at Charlie, as above him. These people look at Rob as they're below him, as he's below them. So yeah, it's kind of weird. This the classism in Chicago, and in Chicago, yeah, it's a real thing. It's every major city. You have the rich people and the people that aren't rich. Okay, and the people that are rich tend to look down on the people that aren't rich. Okay, and if they don't look down, they at least don't associate with them. If you're born rich and you hang out with rich people, your parents are rich, and you went to a rich school, all your friends are rich. You don't give a shit about what's happening to the poor people. You don't make any friends. Do you think Gwyneth Paltrow hangs out in a fucking homeless shelter? Do you think she talks to anyone that lives in a trailer park? Of course not. She never lived in that world. Okay, you see what I mean? And that's kind of what Rob's going through here right now. These people don't understand him. They don't understand the working class. Okay, and that is true. I've been to those parties as well. All right. So he's like, so there's definitely envy there. Why isn't my life like this? He's like, sure, I want their money and clothes and jobs and their opinions. Well, I don't want their opinions, okay? They're all fucking liberals, all right? There was a time, okay, where being a liberal Democrat was a good thing. There was a time for that. I'd admit it, okay? Not anymore, all right? And there's even a guy there at the party wearing a Peruvian fucking hat. And this is pre-2014, okay? When every fucking guy was wearing them, all right? But this guy actually had one in 1999 when this movie was fucking filmed, okay? He's like, and Rob tells him, he's like, they're not bad people, okay? Okay, and I'm not some sort of a class warrior, okay? It's something else, you know? Yeah, like I said, my ex, oh my God, her friends, these artsy farts. I'd go to her gallery where she worked, you know, and we would talk about art. Luckily, I know a lot about it because, like I said, I went to art school. But like when we go to parties with her friends and shit, oh my God, the shit that they talked about, you know, it's just like, it's not above me or anything. It's just like, oh my God, do you realize there's real people in the world, you know, that punch in their clock every fucking day, and you're over here talking about abstract shit, you know, like what the fuck, you know, these people need to come down to earth. They need to go. They don't know what it's like to fucking work for a living. Okay, they're born wealthy. They went to rich schools. They know wealthy people, so they don't understand the common needs of the average person. You know, so yeah. So I actually felt, not only did I feel like an outsider, I felt like I was above them, honestly, because at least I know my blue collar roots. Okay, I still keep in touch with that. I never fucking lose where I came from. You know. So anyway, I felt privileged just to be in their presence, but I didn't feel like they were better than me. Okay, that was the difference. All right. So anyway, I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back very shortly and I'll continue my review of High Fidelity. I thank you for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.